Okay. Go.
You hand me my screen box. Now go. Freak. Rah.
Okay, and we are going on the record in the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Gino Martino, 24222. And appearance, counsel?
Good morning, Your Honor. Christopher Shemke appearing on behalf of my client. This time we consent to the matter being heard via Zoom.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Martino, your name, please.
Gino Martino.
Okay, so we have today is the date scheduled for sentencing on your client's possession of a controlled substance, possession of drug paraphernalia charges, and a bond violation because while he's out on bond on those charges, he was arrested for felony possession of narcotics, 2 counts. And so, counsel, as to the sentencing?
As the sentencing judge, the PSI is factually accurate, no additions, deletions, or corrections.
Okay, Mr. Martino, what is the basis for your FEMLA? What is it that, why are you out of work?
They had me go to rehab, and they just needed me to go to rehab.
Okay, and when did you go to rehab, sir?
I got back at the end of January.
And since then, you've picked up more cases.
Yes.
And you haven't gone back to work.
I've been working with, I've been doing maintenance work.
Okay, well,
But
sir,
it's not-
you're saying
it's
that
not
you
through
were
my
employed by
company.
expert. You said that
It's
you were
not through my
employed by
company.
expert. Hold on, sir, please, we can only one of us talk at a time.
Sorry.
You indicated that you're employed by Expert Heating and Cooling, but you're on FEMLA. So did you go back to Expert Heating and Cooling, or are you no longer employed there?
I have not contacted them. They have not fired me, but I have not been back there, no.
As to the recommendation, counsel.
Your Honor, I believe that the terms and conditions are appropriate. Obviously, I know that there's going to be tracking on the felony case, but it's my hope that he can get that matter potentially concluded, get some credit for the time that he's doing in custody, and then find himself with global resolution. But at least he is eager to try to demonstrate full compliance going forward with probationary terms after some of his other preliminary issues are handled. So any sort of leniency the court could consider, Judge, and we'll stipulate that my client did in fact get charged with new offenses on or about March 28th, 2024, which would be a violation of the bond.
I'm going to have you raise your right hand, sir, regarding the bond violation.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you heard the plea that your attorney stated regarding your bond violation, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And as to the bond violation that you did, in fact, have police contact, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, counsel, if you can please body your client.
Yes, as a term and condition of your bond, you are not to have any police interaction or accrue new charges, correct?
Yes.
Did you stipulate that on or about March 28th, 2024, that you did in fact get charged out of the city of Wyandotte for a felony possession less than 25 grams and a controlled substance possession analog that's pending charges, correct?
Yes, I did.
That's fine, Your Honor.
The court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, volunteering, factually accurate. The court will accept your plea per the plea agreement. For the bond violation, as to sentencing on the bond violation, counsel.
Your Honor, I say to run concurrent with the probationary terms.
All right, sir, and I know you can't really say too much about the facts of the reason for the bond violation because that matter is still pending and you have the right to remain silent if any of that can be used against you. But sir, you're on bond for a possession charge, which I'm not really sure how you were out when I had ordered you to be tethered to treatment through Wayne County Jail. How are you out and not in treatment, sir?
I was not told that I had to be tethered to a treatment. I was just tethered. It said just GPS tether.
Oh, it showed GPS tether. It also said defendant to be tethered to treatment. I'll have to figure out how that occurred. But in any event, you were not in custody, you were out of custody, and you were arrested for the exact same thing as to what this matter is. And in fact, the other, now you have a pending felony. All right, so here's what the court's going to do. The court's going to order on the bond violation. The court's going to order 30 days jail. As to the probation, the sentencing matter, well, so the court is going to find that you're not eligible under 771. It does count 1, but I believe that's supposed to be count 2, the possession of drug paraphernalia. So you're not eligible on that one. It says that you're eligible based upon your criminal history on the possession of controlled substance, but knowing that you have the felony matters pending, I'm a bit hesitant on that. However, per the ordinance of 25.136B, don't have any prior possession convictions, so the court's going to indicate that you're eligible under 25.136 on the possession of controlled substance. The court's going to also state the following. After hearing from counsel, from Mr. Martino, reviewing the report, the recommendation, the pending felony matter, the court does find that there's reasonable grounds for MCL 769.5. The court's going to order 24 months probation. The court's going to also order 45 days jail. The court's going to order that's consecutive with the 30 days from the bond violation. The court's going to also order the following: 24 months probation. You're eligible for early discharge, and I'll go over that shortly. You're not to violate any criminal law of any government. You're not to leave the state without the consent of the court. You're to report truthfully to your probation officer, as often as your probation officer may require, in person, writing, or virtually. You're to notify your probation officer immediately of any change in address or employment status. You're not to use any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. You'll be subjected to random testing. The rehabilitative goal for that condition, so the court can monitor your progress in maintaining abstinence and sobriety. You are to enroll and participate in intensive outpatient substance use counseling. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is to assist you providing coping mechanisms so that you may maintain sobriety and prevent relapse. Hopefully preventing you from continuing to pick up drug possession cases and continuing to come back into court. The court's going to order you to participate in the FAN meetings once per month. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is to provide you additional support systems for to help you maintain your sobriety, and also to allow you to receive additional recovery resources. You are to participate in 5 days on the court workforce. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is to help you further develop work and life skills, get back to the community. The court's going to also order you to seek and maintain full-time employment. The rehabilitative goal for that condition, I think, is obvious, but it's so that you can support yourself financially. And upon your release, you're to provide proof of completing 30 job applications per week. The court's going to also order mandatory jail for any additional violation. Any questions regarding the terms and conditions?
So it's a total of 75 days in jail? And
Yes.
then I can start doing all this?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That was
As to the fines and costs. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that, sir?
No, that was it.
Okay. And the court's going to order that these conditions are concurrent with each other. So you have a possession of controlled substances and possession of drug paraphernalia. So these conditions are for both counts. Workforce is 5 days per count, so it's a total of 10 days, okay? As to count 1, possession of controlled substance, the court's going to order a $500 fine, $100 screening assessment fee, supervision oversight fee, $1,200. That's $50 a month at 24 months. And since you're eligible for early discharge, sir, some of that money may not be due. Cost of prosecution, $300. Crime victim assessment fee, $75. Justice assessment fee, $50. Workforce, $200. It's 5 days at $40 a day. And so that is $2,225 as to that matter. As to the possession of drug paraphernalia, count 2, $200 fine. There's no oversight fee or screening fee that's already charged on the first one. $200 for the cost of prosecution. Crime victim assessment fee of $75. Justice assessment fee of $50. Workforce, $200. 5 days at $40 a day. Total of $725 for a total of $2,950 for both matters. I do show a $500 bond was posted on this matter. So we can apply the $500 bond. And then you'll set up a payment plan. That'll be another condition to set up payment plan. I'll give you until July 15th, sir. All right, that gives you time after your jail sentence to submit applications and start earning money and then set up a payment plan, okay?
All right.
All right, any questions regarding the terms and conditions?
Nope, I think I should be all right.
All right, sir, you're going down a dark path and we're going to try to help keep you off that dark path.
Yeah, I don't enjoy jail at all, so I appreciate it.
Go on the record in the matter of Jennifer Vitro, 232420A.
Good. Your Honor, Mr. Shemke, appearing me up my client. This time we accept the matter being heard via Zoom.
Okay. And Ms. Vitro, your name, please.
Jennifer Vitro.
Okay. And so this is a matter scheduled for probation violation. And your client failed, your client failed to appear for probation instructions on February 16th.
Yes, Your Honor. My client did not appear at on February 16th, so we won't be needing to have a hearing contesting that.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this man to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
You heard the allegation, and as to that allegation, ma'am, how do you plead?
Well, I am guilty, Your Honor, but it was because the information was not updated.
Pause. We're not gonna go into an explanation at this point. That'll be for just a few moments. And you've gone over your advice of rights for probation violation purposes, correct?
No, actually, I didn't even know I had court until yesterday.
Ms. Vitro, as we discussed, you understand you could have a hearing in which you could contest. So except you were saying that you did in fact make it to that hearing, you would contest it and say that you were in fact there. But you're not having a hearing. We're going to provide an explanation, but you understand that no one's threatened you or coerced you into going down this path, correct?
Correct.
You understand that you have a hearing because I called you and informed you, correct?
Yes, I just found out yesterday.
Okay, and so knowing all those rights, ma'am, you want to continue with your plea.
Yes, ma'am.
And specifically, the recommendation is for you to continue and complete all terms of probation, continue your under advisement status, pay a $50 probation violation fee, serve 5 days jail, report to probation immediately, and revoke any under advisement status for any new violations. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing all that, you want to continue with your plea.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, counsel, you can please voir dire your client.
Yes, as a term and condition of probation, you understand that you were to go to a probation scheduled meeting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Although you indicate
Can
that
you
you didn't
speak
have
up,
knowledge
ma'am?
of that,
Ma'am, I
you
need
will.
you to- I'm sorry, counsel, hold on. Ma'am, I need you to speak up because I didn't get your answer to Mr. Shenke's question.
Yes, sir.
And although,
Louder. I need you to be louder, ma'am.
Sorry. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
right, and although whether or not you knew about the meeting or not, you are stipulating that you did not appear at the probation instructional on February 16th, 2024. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Satisfied.
All right, thank you. And the court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, factually accurate. The court will enter probation violation based upon your plea of guilty. And ask for the recommendation, counsel.
Your Honor, I believe the recommendation is appropriate. I'd ask to be adopted.
And ma'am, what was the reason that you're trying to tell this court you didn't appear for your instructions?
My my information had not been updated apparently, and I didn't have. They did not have my updated address or phone number. So I did try calling the courthouse several times, but it just kept ringing, and I also had a death in the family very recently, so
Ma'am,
it was not
when was the
intentional.
death in the family?
I'm sorry,
When was the death in the family?
just week before last.
Okay. And I extend our condolences from the court, but way after February 16th. And
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
you were in court. You were in court on February 13th.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This court recalled the warrant, sentenced you, ordered you to report to probation by February 16th to get your instructions.
Yes, ma'am.
I ordered you right there on the record. So I'm not sure what part you didn't get for having to report by February 16th.
I didn't know where to go or who to report to.
Nope, that's not true either, because I told you that you needed to email in or report in person. You had two options.
I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't recall
If you
that.
called, you kept calling in, right? But yet you didn't email in.
No, ma'am, I don't recall that instruction.
Yeah, when you call in, it tells you to email in because that's a quicker response.
I've tried emailing the court many times before when I was on tether, and I never got a response.
Ma'am, since February 13th, did you contact the court via email?
No, ma'am.
No, okay.
I was in jail.
I'm sorry?
I was in jail.
Okay, when were you released, ma'am, from jail?
The 14th.
Right. That's why I gave you until the 16th to report. They gave you a couple of extra days to report.
I'm sorry.
That was Friday. The court's going to adopt the recommendation to continue and complete all terms of probation. Will continue your under advisement status, $50 probation violation fee. Where are you located right now, ma'am?
I'm in Farmington Hills.
Okay. Is that where you're currently living?
No, ma'am, I don't have secure housing at this time. That's part of the reason.
So where do you want us to mail anything to? You tried saying that the reason why there was a mix-up is because the information you changed must not have been stored. So where is it that you want us to mail information to?
A friend of mine is going to let me use her address for mail right now. She's letting me use it for, I've applied for emergency housing and low-income housing through Wayne Metro and things of that nature.
Okay, and so where is that address located, ma'am?
It's in Detroit.
And when did you provide that email? When did you provide that address, ma'am?
No, I gave you guys my ex-boyfriend's address last time, but that's just, that's not a viable option anymore as he doesn't live there anymore.
Right, because my note on here is that you were staying in Taylor and there will be a new address and you're going to update probation.
Yes, that's where his mother lives.
I'm sorry?
That's where his mother lives. He was staying with his mother at that time.
Okay, and so now you're saying it's an address in Detroit.
Yeah, a friend of mine's letting me use her address so I can get mail from Wayne Metro and applying through MI Bridges and things of that nature for emergency housing and food benefits and things of that nature.
Okay, and so did you email that new address in?
No, ma'am, I wasn't sure which email to send it to.
Ma'am, do you have an address? I mean, an email address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so then go back into your email and search up the 27th District Court probation and you'll get that email address and you know exactly where to send it then. And you also have a new warrant since you were last in court.
I'm sorry?
You have a new warrant since you were last in court.
I am unaware of any warrants.
Well, it's out of New Baltimore, just entered March 13th because you failed to appear. This is for an intimidation, telecommunication services, malicious use. You failed to appear for court multiple times, it appears, per their note.
Yeah, I spoke with my attorney in regards to that because I didn't have any housing and no transportation. That was supposed to be postponed.
Yeah, there's only so many times it'll be postponed. That and you don't just get to dictate or tell your attorney to ask for a new date. That doesn't necessarily mean the court's going to grant that on multiple occasions. So if the court's going to adopt the recommendation in full, the court's going to continue to complete, order you to continue to fill terms of probation, continue under advisement status, $50 probation violation fee. You are to report to probation immediately. That's today. You need to report to probation today. Your under advisement status will be revoked for any new violation. You're going to serve 5 days jail. So you're going to report here today, report to probation, then you're going to report to jail. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, you'll need to be here, ma'am, by 2 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. In the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Jaclyn Maness, 24350-211492 A and B, and apparently there's a bunch of show causes. 15AC 172 AB C, and 15640-187 A, B, and C. Okay.
Good
And
afternoon, Your Honor.
counsel?
Christopher Shumke, appearing on behalf of my clients, timely consent to the matter being heard via Zoom. Judge, as the arraignment, we waive formal reading. My client stands mute.
All right, and Ms. Maness, your name for the record, please.
Jaclyn and Maness.
Okay, and so the court is going to waive the formal reading as to both of the 21 matter and the 24 matter. Enter a plea of not guilty for purpose of the arraignment. And we will schedule this matter for pre-trial on April 17th at 10 a.m. And as to bond counsel.
Your Honor, one initial housekeeping issue. It's my understanding that my client's sister is also being arraigned today. One of the charges, the assault and battery, alleges that my client, at this point, Jaclyn Maness, had assaulted Jennifer Neal. Now, we're maintaining her innocence, but I did run that by my client Jaclyn, as well as Jennifer, to see if they had any issue with me being able to handle the arraignments, with their knowing that I most likely will not be representing one or even both of them in the matter, but it's limited to today's proceeding. Now, Jaclyn, do you have any issue with me handling your arraignment or your sister's this morning?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. And you're correct, counsel, since your availability is limited in April, you probably will not be representing either one of them at the April 17th hearing. And so for arraignment purposes only, I will note that conflict waived. As to bond counsel.
Your Honor, as to bond, my client has a litany of medical issues. She indicates that she was unaware of any sort of potential show causes, but she has gone through a tumultuous period of time, included but not limited to the loss of loved ones as well as financial constraints. I know that financially she would have some difficulty being able to post a rigorous bond, and we might have to have a housekeeping or concern to issue regarding a contact provision between my client Jaclyn and her sister Jennifer, as I do believe they reside together. I'd ask that you consider that with determining an appropriate bond and potentially any leniency this court could take into consideration. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, so Ms. Maness, you currently reside where?
4700 23rd Street, Wyandotte.
Okay.
And my sister and I live.
So what's that? Well, I didn't hear the last part of that, ma'am.
My sister and I live together. I don't know what these assault charges are.
Well, let's talk about your previous failures to appear. So you were ordered to appear to this court on September 22nd of 21 for your driving while license suspended matter out of Riverview. You did not appear. this court issued a warrant and you still had not appeared. And you're at the 4723rd Street house.
I was not living there at that time. I was living in Flat Rock. At that time, that was when, actually the day I found out my father had cancer.
Okay, and so, what was the address in Flat Rock?
14932 Monroe Street. This Flat Rock 48134.
Okay, well, that's where all of your previous show cause matters were sent that you failed to pay on.
I had a very big problem with my neighbor was stealing my mail. I didn't get a lot of things.
Okay, so where's the documentation from the police department or the post office that was happening?
Everything I had burnt up. And I thought my life was
what?
Everything I had burnt up in a fire.
And where was that?
In Flat Rock. That's why I'm no longer there.
How long have you resided on 23rd Street, ma'am?
I moved in with my father 2 years ago in July.
Well, in 2021, that was your address. And what were you on probation for out of Monroe County?
My neighbor had said that my dog, he made 418 calls that my dog was running the streets. And I never got a ticket. I never got a court paper because Mr. Crowley was stealing my important information as far as getting my social security number and everything else. It's been a nightmare.
All right, are you currently on probation or parole anywhere, ma'am?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Are you currently on probation or parole anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Well, you have a lot of failure to appears.
I was going through a lot. There's no excuse for that, but I wasn't even getting my mail to even know about it.
Ma'am, you were in court, or you received the tickets. You received the tickets. There were show causes issued. And so where do you work?
I am on disability.
And what's the nature of your disability, ma'am?
I have spinal cord problems, spinal cord stenosis in my upper back and my lower. I've had
Who lives at the home with you?
my sister and my sister helps take care of me. Because there's times I can't even get out of bed.
Are you out on bond in any other jurisdiction?
I'm sorry?
Are you out on bond in any other jurisdiction?
No, ma'am.
Well, given the amount of matters you have in this court that you have been taking care of, the warrant that had been issued for your arrest you didn't take care of, and now the pending charge of assault and battery, the court's going to order the following. On 211492A, the court's going to order a $3,500 10% bond.
What's that? 350.
In the matter of 24350, the court's going to order a $5,000 10% bond. Given the amount of times you have failed to appear in this court, the court wants to ensure you're going to appear in court. The court's going to also order the following bond conditions.
Okay.
You are not to have any contact with your sister, Jennifer Neal.
My sister is my caregiver.
You're not to enter the premises at the home on 23rd Street.
I'm sorry?
You're not to enter the home on 23rd Street unless you're accompanied by a police officer to obtain your belongings. So where else can you go see me? Because you're not going back to the home. Do you have anywhere else you can stay? Ma'am?
I need to call my mother. My mom is
Is there anyone else?
75 years old. Oh my God. They never touched my sister.
Ma'am, do you have anywhere else that you can stay?
I have to get with my mother.
Okay. And then the court's going to order GPS tether.
Jesus Christ.
You're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed, not to possess or have access to any firearms and or any weapons. And ma'am, we want to make sure you're appearing in court because you have a history of failing to appear in court.
I will be in court.
And we'll move all these show causes to April 17th as well. All right, anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right.
Call the officer. What?
What? I'm confused, I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, and we are on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte versus Jennifer Neal.
Just good afternoon, Your Honor. Christopher Shemke appearing on behalf of my clients. Time extends to the matter being heard via Zoom. As to the arraignment, we waive formal reading. My client stands mute.
All right, and ma'am, your name for the record, please.
Jennifer Neal.
All right, counsel, did you want to put on the record the housekeeping matter?
Yes, please, Your Honor. Judge, in this circumstance, my understanding that my client is the victim in this, or the alleged complainant in this matter, Jennifer Neal, who's being charged with the fraudulent schemes and disguising, which we are maintaining her innocence. She is listed as the complainant in her sister's case, Jaclyn Maness, who we did an arraignment this morning. I discussed this with both sisters and now my client Jennifer, who's going to be arraigned, and asked if she had any issue with me handling the arraignments for both her and her sister today, with the understanding that it would be unlikely that I would represent them further after today's proceeding. Do you have any conflict with me handling your arraignment today, Jennifer, knowing that I just coordinated your sister's arraignment?
No, my sister and I live together.
Understood. So as to the arraignment, Judge, we waive formal reading of my client stands mute.
So ma'am, you don't have any objection to Mr. Shemke representing both you and your sister for purposes of the arraignment today, correct?
I'm not pressing charges against my sister. It was an argument that I don't understand.
Ma'am, my question was, do you have any objection to Mr. Shemke representing both you and your sister for purposes of the arraignment today?
Oh, ma'am.
Court will note attorney conflict waived, and court's going to waive the formal reading, enter plea of not guilty for purposes of the arraignment. Schedule this matter for pretrial on April 17th at 10 a.m. And counsel Esteban.
Your Honor, based upon my client indicates that she'll appear to any and all future court dates. My understanding that she has a close relationship with her sister, and it's my hope that whatever sort of potential miscommunication or even misunderstanding can be quickly sorted out so the two could potentially be reunited. That being said, I'd ask for any leniency this court could consider. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, are you, you reside at the home on 23rd Street?
Ma'am.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
And who else resides there with you?
My sister and myself.
Okay. Nobody else resides there with you?
Ma'am.
If you were to test today, what's in your system?
I'm sorry?
If you were to test today, what is in your system?
Just my prescribed medication.
And so was there a communication between you and your sister as you were walking into court or into there for court?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
As you were on your way into the room there for court, was there a communication between you and your sister?
I asked why she was crying. I asked if she was okay. And I believe she said she has nowhere to live, and I don't understand that. It's
Okay.
just her, not
Just so you are aware, ma'am, there's no contact between your sister and you. This court ordered a no contact provision as a condition of the bond that this court placed on your sister. Ma'am, are you currently out on bond in any other jurisdiction?
No.
Have you ever failed to appear in court for any reason?
No.
No? Well, there's a couple matters that, I'm sorry, what's that?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Well, there's a couple matters that appear to have been from 2014 that weren't taken care of until 2022 or 2021.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm confused. I don't understand what's going on. I'm on probation, and I see her every I see her every 2 weeks.
Okay, and what court are you on probation out of?
I don't know.
Where are you on probation? What court?
She's in my Lincoln Park.
Okay, your probation officer's in Lincoln Park, so it's a Third Circuit Court matter that you're on probation for?
I'm sorry, I don't know the court numbers.
Okay,
I believe
what
she
is it you're on
indicated
probation
Lincoln
for,
Park.
ma'am?
When I spoke to her, Judge, she said Lincoln Park.
Yes, that's where the felony probation office is located. Ma'am, what are you on probation for?
For an incident that happened in 2021.
I'm sorry, what?
For something that happened in 2021.
Okay, am I going to have to guess or can you tell me?
No, it's driving under the influence of narcotics. It's my own medication.
Okay, and so that was in 2021, and did you just take care of it, or why are you still on probation?
I'm on probation for 3 years. The case is over with. I've already been through court and everything for it.
All right, the court's going to, based upon the fact that you are currently on probation, where do you work, ma'am?
Disabled.
Okay, what's the nature of your disability?
I have nerve damage in my. I have spine disease, narrowing of the spine. I have lupus, fractured tailbone. I've had a neck fusion, a back laminectomy.
And so with all of that, you're able to help take care of your sister?
She just needs visually taken care of, make sure that she takes her medication correctly. And when she can't get up.
Currently on probation, the court wants to ensure that you're going to appear in court, and based upon the charges, the court wants to make sure that you're going to appear in court. The court's going to order a $3,500 10% bond. In the event you postpone, you're not to possess or consume any alcohol or drugs unless prescribed. And we'll see you back on April 17th. Thank you. Have a good day.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What is going on today? This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke. He needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself something.
Oh my God, sir. Put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what? Let's bring people from He's gonna learn how to act in the courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Man? Man? Can you hear it? Okay.
I have no patience for that. But trust me, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.